Today is November 28th, 2014, and the last, yesterday, on the 27th, I uploaded a few clips, one about budget, one about songs, two different series that I'm doing, and then basically testimony, true testimony of the United States government attempts and strategies to repeatedly torture me and rape me, and then have it made to look like I wasn't being raped, and like I was going along with everything consensually later. So I explained one of the situations that they trained me in, and that one that I explained was a kind of like a standing position, and was originated from this blowjobs for milk kind of thing that they were doing. And then it always involved my standing or walking over to the man who was standing and to do then this blowjob. And it wasn't just like, I mean, they were very careful, because they wanted me to really look like, maybe that later down the road, like I was lying, like I was just consensually giving blowjobs to people or something, and then lying about it. And maybe they thought in the future they could use that against me and claim that everything I ever said was a lie. And, also just, raped me. They were committing hate crimes against me. Why they hated me that much, I really don't know, because they started this when I was a baby and a toddler. And it got worse. So, I mean, it could have gone different directions. They didn't have to follow through with their whole plan that they had created for themselves. But they did. And when they were plotting ways to, give triggers or signals to me to let me know, okay, this is your cue, you either do what we have been telling you to do your entire life, or that the consequence is you will be killed, or you're going to get tortured and beat up and raped anyway, and there's no cop that's going to help you. So so some of their triggers and cues for all of this, it sounded very kind of innocent. For example, like, saying, I don't know why they can't make this easier to put on, like talking about a condom. Could be something anyone might say, and then later, if someone changed their mind or said, no, I don't want you to do that, that would be anyone's right, in a natural setting. But what they were doing is using a combination of triggers. They were using hand signal combined with a specific posture or stance, like a specific kind of location for the specific words they used, and the hand signal. And all of those things together were meant to be specific triggers. So I don't believe that just anyone, that it was intended, or that it was possible for just any random person to say something similar, and then have me assume that, apply this trained behavior to that person who was just some random person who just randomly happened to say something. There was a specific order of and combination of things that they did that were basically like keys. Basically, they had the keys to facilitating a specific kind of reaction from me that they trained and tortured me for years to do. So, for example, if some guy's just standing there and said, no, I don't want you to do this, would I keep doing that? No, I don't. that's not how it worked. How it was working for them is to combine a specific set of cues all together. And every single person that later used this on me, when I tried to report this, the entire thing, the strategy of everything they were doing, when I was a preteen. And my computer was crashing and things were, I was getting hauled off, I was young, and I was getting tortured more. And I think they wanted to have an opportunity to try it out later on me, and which they did actually at one point, and then they tried to kill me. And when they started, they didn't successfully kill me. This one, they're kind of going on a tangent, but I'll explain it more later. I was run off the road when I was in high school after they attempted one of their strategies against me. And I think they got scared that I remembered some things and thought that, well, it's time to bump her off anyway. So there was an attempt to kill me, and it wasn't successful. So then after that, I think people were really on edge, and they just kind of watched me, and I was somewhat oblivious to some of it. I wasn't thinking about everything that had ever happened, and I wasn't connecting those people to people in my past either. So they kind of left me alone, and then I guess they just decided, well, we can try out more of our crimes against her, which is what they did later. And all of the men that were involved in raping me later when I was a young adult, all of them were the sons of men who raped me, sons of men and their wives, who were involved in raping and torturing me when I was younger. All of them. Every single one of them. So, so they specifically sought this out. And so I wanted to sort of explain, for example, with the, so what was the combination triggers? There's like a hand signal, and then there was the words that I mentioned with the standing thing, and then there was a direct posture, and they'd stand with their feet apart, like shoulder width length apart, squarely, and then with their hands down on their, kind of the way, sort of the way the FBI stands when they're taking photos for themselves for their offices. Or cops, they stand with their feet apart, shoulder width apart, and then their hands usually kind of are like this in front of them, or down below, like sometimes to the side, but typically right in front of them. Well, instead of having their hands right in front of them clasped like that, they were holding onto their penises after they also gave an additional hand signal to indicate to me what I was supposed to do to them. So that was a set of triggers specifically for, and then the words and the way I was brushed off, that was also specific. And that was a specific set of words for the standing, for the rape of me if I'm from a standing position. And the other two strategies that they had, as I explained earlier, were to rape me from sitting position, and also from a lying down position. And then they also had a specific situational rape strategy where I was supposed to accept being raped after a phone rang, after someone got a phone call in the room while I was trying to fight off someone. And so those are just a few of the different scenarios that the United States government came up with for excuses to rape me. And then they made it sure to have it look like I was just going along with it. So then the rape while I was in a seated position. I explained already many times that the training for that occurred in barber chairs, for different federal and state law enforcement types of offices. At private homes, there were different private individuals involved, and in cars, when I was seated in a car next to someone on the passenger side, them driving. And in medical chairs with the kids, pediatric kinds of chairs, or I think with some other kinds as well. You can use a lever thing to elevate someone or lower them down in medical clinics and hospitals. It's also practiced there. It's also practiced at the dental office, as I explained. And in one situation, I got raped at a dentist office. They put me under anesthesia for something. I don't remember what it was, because it doesn't seem like I had that bad of a dental problem. But I was knocked out in a dentist office. And when I woke up, I realized that I'd been raped. And I actually was starting to come out of the whatever they knocked me out with while he was still trying to rape me. So that was scary. And that's something that happened. And anyway, so these different things that they did almost always involved the person who was helping to coordinate and train me to accept being raped. It always involved my being raped on the spot when they were doing that. And sometimes my being raped, as they practiced having it look consensual, or they tortured me and threatened me and then told me to do what they said, or I would be hurt or killed. And then in a few other situations, they didn't even care about whether I knew I was getting raped, or they didn't even care about whether I was consenting or going along with their training or not. They were just raping me. For example, in that dentist chair, that didn't have knocking me out, didn't require my participation. And it was just sort of a free-for-all rape of me. And I remember at the time that dentist did that. He thought he was getting back at someone for something. I don't know if it was some government twisted idea to try to get revenge against someone, because I'm sure someone was doing that. But I don't think he was just a pervert. I think he was trying to make some kind of a point to someone else by harming me. And so the seated position thing that they did, it was the same thing kind of as the standing. If I didn't give the blow job when they had me at the same level that they were at, or bend down and do it or whatever, they would torture me. The same thing with the weapons. Cops were involved when it happened at a cop headquarters. All their cops got involved. It was a large number of individuals. And Robin Bechtold's dad was there. And he is someone who then later was used to rape me from a seated position when I was in high school. And right after that is when the United States tried to murder me by running me off the road. But his father and his mother had sexually abused me when I was a kid, repeatedly in their house. They had cops show up that they were friends with if they got worried I was trying to tell anyone, or trying to call 911 to make a public cry out for help. And this video is just starting to wrap up, so I'm going to, on the time, so I'm going to continue this in the next one.